The Joe Rogan Experience.
I mean, the programming is so obvious when you look at it for 2 seconds, how you're trained from birth to be a fucking pat on the head dog. Mm-hmm. And you're trained to, like, you know, that's why Temple Grandin knows how cows think. It's useful to have people that think like cows.
Right.
That's so useful. You control how they breed. You could tell them, hey, you guys are all gay now. I don't want you breeding. There's too many people. You're all gay now. Oh, I am. Yeah, you're a different sex. Imagine how great that is to have, what do they call it? What was the term from the program? Programmable biorobotoids, I think is what Kissinger called them. Yeah, that's all the MK Ultra shit.
Whoa. What?
Yeah,
that's what he called people that were under the spell of MK Ultra?
Something like biorobotoids. A robot means laborer.
Right.
It's just a way to get slavery. It's just a way to get back to good old slavery, which never left.
Well, the experiments that they did with drugs on people, that's literally what created Ted Kaczynski. And do you remember the one?
I'm sure they stopped.
They did it in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I think they sprayed it out off the top of a building.
Yeah, they didn't even use the chemtrail. They did off the top of the building onto black kids in a building just to see.
But wasn't it LSD?
No, that's San Francisco. This was cobalt.
But wait a minute.
I don't remember. It's cobalt something. It's radioactive.
Oh, that's right. It was to judge whether or not they would be poisoned and what level of poisoning they could survive.
But it sounds Nazi-ish, don't it?
Super.
I wonder if Dr. Green was involved. You know who Dr. Green is, right? Mengele.
Jesus. Oh, let's one step at a time.
Yeah, we brought
Before
Mengele
you go
here.
down Dr. Green, what was that experiment? Someone told me there was one where they sprayed LSD into the atmosphere.
That's San Francisco?
No. Oh. San Francisco was pneumonia. St. Louis, Doris Spates was a baby and her father died inexplicably. She has watched her siblings die of cancer. She survived cervical cancer. Learning the Army conducted secret chemical testing in her impoverished St. Louis neighborhood in the height of the Cold War. She wonders if her own government is to blame. In the mid-1950s and again a decade later, the Army used motorized blowers atop a low-income housing high-rise at schools and from the back of station wagons to send a potentially dangerous compound into the already hazy air in predominantly black areas of St. Louis. Local officials were told at the time that the government was testing a smokescreen that could shield St. Louis from aerial observation in case the Russians attacked. But in 1994, the government said the tests were part of a biological weapons program, and St. Louis was chosen because it bore some resemblances to Russian cities that the U.S. might attack. The material being sprayed was zinc cadmium sulfide.
Cadmium, that's what it was.
Cadmium sulfide, a fine fluorescent powder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Russians have black neighborhoods, I guess.
The new research raising greater concern about the implications of those tests. St. Louis Community College Merrimack sociology professor Lisa Marino Taylor's research has raised the possibility that the Army performed radiation testing by mixing radioactive particles with the zinc cadmium sulfide, although she concedes there is no direct proof.
Fucking jerk-off motion.
Right. But if she's saying this, she must have some reasoning.
Do you have weed?
Yeah. But her report released last month was troubling enough that both U.S. senators from Missouri wrote to Army Secretary John McHugh demanding answers. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So the San Francisco one was a disease thing. Find that, Jamie. In the San Francisco one, they were spraying pneumonia into the clouds.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they've stopped doing things like that.
Yeah. What it was the San Francisco one? I think they had the fog coming in and they wanted to see if they could distribute a disease that way. And so they spread a disease aerially to see how many people were infected.
How many was it?
I don't know. What year was that? What year was it that they did that? I want to say that was the 80s.
What should I say there was? Because I can't look up MK Ultra. It's got to be something else.
No. San Francisco experimented with diseases on its population. Try that. What do you got?
I mean,
spraying in 1950.
They just did it to you a couple years ago.
1950 was the 80s. Okay, United States after secretly spraying San Francisco with SM. What is SM? In 1950, 11 patients at a city hospital contracted sciatica infections, one of whom died. The Army deemed the outbreak a coincidence and continued to use SM as a simulant in subsequent open-air tests.
Operation Sea Spray.
That's it. Operation Sea Spray.
That's
Okay, so a bacteria. So U.S. Navy in 1950, U.S. Navy secret biological warfare experiment in which Serratia marcescens and Bacillus globigi bacteria were sprayed over the San Francisco Bay Area in California in order to determine how vulnerable a city like San Francisco may be to a bioweapon attack, killing at least one American and sickening at least 10 more. Imagine, let's find out how we could be vulnerable to a bioweapon on our citizens, and to protect them, we will use a bioweapon on our citizens.
Yeah, that's...
And we will kill people.
Yeah, well, so that's the attitude is you're cattle. That's the attitude.
Based on results from monitoring equipment at 43 locations around the city, the Army determined that San Francisco had received enough of a dose for nearly all of the 800,000 residents to inhale at least 5,000 of the particles. This is within range of the infectivity for anthrax.
Isn't anthrax a cow disease?
I don't know, but it's
a cattle disease.
Is that what it started
from?
They
tested cattle diseases on their cattle. Get it?
Jesus Christ. The bacterium was also combined with phenol and an anthrax simulant and sprayed across Dorset by U.S. and U.K. military scientists as part of the DICE trials that ran from 1971 to 75. Jesus Christ. There's no evidence that the Army had alerted health authorities before it blanketed the region with bacteria. Crazy. Doctors later wondered whether the experiment might be responsible for heart valve infections around the same time, as well as serious infections seen among intravenous drug users from 1960s to 1970s.